Too small. Okay. All right. So today we are going to talk about how to work your business during holidays or other busy times. And some of you guys have real structured schedules all the time. And some of you have kind of flexible schedules. And so, if you're one of those people with more of a flexible schedule, this is something that you really have to master because otherwise, you are going to be continuing to um, miss out on opportunities to work your business. And what tends to happen is you end up feeling like you're not doing a good job of hanging out with your family and you're not doing a good job of working your business. But even for those of you that have real structured schedules, there are times when you have family vacations and times when there are the holidays, and those can be a little bit challenging. So, we are going to talk about just some things I've learned over the last 10 years that help you to work the holidays and have success and feel successful without missing out on all the fun with your family either. So, first of all, we've got Reagan on the call live today. So, I'm going to be chatting with her a little bit, but I know a lot of you watch the recording. So, if you have a question or something that you want to share afterwards, then go feel free once you watch it to send your comments or questions in the chat. But for today's purposes, at least for the live, I'm just going to ask Reagan some questions and then try to share some information that might be helpful to everybody. So, Reagan, what how do you when I say working your business during the holidays, what kind of comes up for you? What feels easy about working your business during the holidays? What feels hard about working your business? What kind of thoughts do you have about that?
I feel like my first thought is like always the basic like no one has time for this during the holidays mentality of
Hmm.
like nobody has money for this because always like their excuse is it's Christmas time
Hmm.
or nobody wants to work this. Like I think it was Kaylee last night talking about it. Like nobody's gonna buy during the holidays. Nobody wants to work that hard during the holidays. All those things very
Nobody
similar.
has money during the holidays.
Yeah. So that's kind of my first thought. And then there's me personally, where it's like,
Mhm.
I'm obviously going to work on like every day that's not a holiday. But then there's also the mentality of like, I want to work on a holiday like Black Friday or relationship build on the holiday itself. But I also want to enjoy my time with my family and kind of like be fully present. So for
Hmm.
me personally, it's the on the holiday itself how do I work it well? And then for
Okay.
everybody else, like customers, team members, how do I get them to work on the holiday season as a whole?
Perfect. Okay, gotcha. So some of the things that we deal with is the mindset struggles and the limiting beliefs that come up about that nobody wants to work during the holidays and why should I push people because they don't want to? Why should I reach out to people because they don't want to order? Why should I encourage people to work because they don't want to work? And so that is something that that we do need to think about. And one of the best ways that I found to think about that is just looking at actual results. There are people that have ranked to Emerald in November and December. There especially, I mean, December especially, like I would think that there would be no way that people would rank up to Emerald in December. But there are people that have done that. Meredith mentioned somebody yesterday, and I don't remember her name, but there are plenty. There's a lady that on Emily Gibson's team that went Emerald in 90 days, and the end of her 90 days was January. She started in November and went Emerald in 90 days. So, one of the things that helps me when I have a thought like nobody wants to do this is to start to think, who is nobody? Like, but what if I'm wrong? What if there is somebody? Do I have evidence that I am wrong and that there is somebody? Okay, because also I'm somebody that wants to work during the holidays. I still want to work and I can't be the only one. And so while as a whole, it may be more challenging to get people to work during the holidays, everybody's unique and individual and you can't know that, you can't decide that for someone. So when those thoughts start to come for you or your team members, just start to question that, push back against that and say, what evidence do I have to support that, or what evidence do I have to not support that? And if you don't have any, then you can ask people like me, people like Reagan. I bet most people can, that have been with Plexus long enough can find evidence of somebody that ranked up during the holidays. And actually, I was listening to somebody talk about a trainer talk about the holiday season yesterday, and she was saying that now that network marketing has jumped into the Black Friday sales, what used to be a very tough month is a rival for top month of the year for many network marketing companies, and that's November. So if you're feeling like, well, it's the holidays, people are busy, people are saving money for Christmas, there's no chance of ranking up, there's no chance of having a lot of success this month, you're just wrong. Statistics can prove that November is now one of the top months, vying for top month with the month before convention, which is because people want those rank ups before convention so they can walk the stage at that rank. And then also the last month of like the Emerald Diamond qualifications. So that would be July for us. And so, but that's across network marketing companies that have embraced Black Friday. And as we said on one of our calls today, there is the only thing keeping you from having an amazing November is yourself and your beliefs and what you're thinking, because Plexus has given us so much to have a really good November. So when those thoughts start to come up, just fight back, just say no. That may have been true in the past, but it's not true now. November can be the highest month of the year for me, and it can catapult us into 2025. So anyway, so just keep that in mind as far as, and you're not responsible for what people choose to do. You're responsible for asking and following the system. So you have to not decide for people. You have to go ahead and ask people and then see what they're willing to do. Okay. So that's one thing. Now, as far as actually working the holidays, I think, and this will help. Like, I mean, Reagan, I don't know what your schedule's like, but I think your schedule kind of changes up. Like, it's not 100% the same from week to week, right? I don't know if you're
Yeah,
still.
currently it's flexible. I'm about to move into a job that's 9 to 5.
Okay.
Monday
So
through
that'll be
Friday
the
is a
same.
more structured soon, but currently, yes.
Okay. So for Reagan and those of you that also have 9 to 5 schedules, this is not really as much of a problem when you're doing your regularly scheduled work. But then there are some of you watching this that either have summers off or like 2 weeks off for Christmas, some of our teachers or school staff, but also there's some of you that are stay at home homeschooling moms. And so your schedule can be very flexible. And if you are waiting for the perfect day to get your work done, it's never going to happen. And so the key to working your business smart during the holidays is always going to be prep ahead of time and proper planning. A professional plans ahead. Some of us like to say that we're really good at going with the flow, and that's great. In addition to having a good plan and being ready and knowing what you're going to do the next day, the next week. And so, if you know one month that, for example, some of you guys will earn, hopefully all of you will earn Leaders Retreat in February. Leaders Retreat was chosen as the last week of February. We are going to be on a boat, very busy, the whole last week of February. Okay, so that could be hard to work your business, enjoy your cruise, and not miss out, especially on a short month like February. But what you can do is knowing that that is coming, you can do extra and plan your work where you do the majority of your work at the beginning of the month, even if you normally split it up equally, and you can prep to have that time off mostly the last week of the month and just do a few small things like follow up, but you have to prep ahead of time or that's not going to happen. I know one thing that I've recognized is that, you know, if I have a list of the people I'm going to contact, because the most important things that you can do in your network marketing business is be talking to people about the products or the business, following up with people about the products or the business. So talking to new people about the products or the business, following up with people about the products or the business, and helping people share the products or the business. So if you have a list of those people to be connecting with, and you know it ahead of time, then when your day goes crazy, you've got your list of 10 people. You don't have to fight that what do I do mentality. And I think that's when we shut down. If we're having a stressful, crazy day and we have to figure out what to do, we're not going to do it. If we're having a stressful, crazy day and we've got a list of 5 people that we know we're supposed to message, and we already know what message we're going to send them, it is not that hard to send that message. For example, Wednesday morning last week, I woke up and I thought Finley was finally going to go back to school after being out a week. And she had a rash all over her whole body. And I knew they would send her home because she looked like she had the plague. So I end up having to go to the doctor with her. Now, if I had had a great list of the 5 people I needed to message, I could have messaged them while I was sitting in the doctor's office. Or if I didn't, then I'd be sitting in the doctor's office feeling like I need to work my business, or sitting at home dealing with Finley thinking I need to work my business, but not knowing where to start and feeling frustrated and like a failure and behind. Does that make sense, Reagan? Since you're my only live person?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense and
Okay.
definitely helps.
Yeah. So what do you do right now? And it's okay if you don't do anything, but I'm guessing you do something. What do you do right now to prep and plan for what you're going to do with your work? And how much ahead of time do you do that? What is your procedure or process?
So right now I'm focusing heavily on business reach out. So there's less prep in advance for that because I'm doing a lot of the like pray and scroll method lately.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I do that's like prep but not prep, it's posting in my stories and posting things that draw engagement because I know that I can go to those stories, lots of engagement, and pull multiple people off that I haven't talked to in a while.
Okay.
Uh, so that's just kind of a system that I've created that's kind of prep but not prep.
Okay.
And also like adding new friends, putting them on a list so that when I do end up doing like just random reach outs, more cold reach outs, I have a list of those people ready to go if I run out of warm reach outs for the day.
Perfect. Yeah, so you don't have to think about it. So you don't have to figure it out, because when you're on that day and you're trying to stress about what to do, the more you have to think about it, the more you have to figure it out, the less likely you're going to be to do it. Because prep time is when you're good at thinking things out. So I would say that especially for the holidays, but if you're going through different periods in your life that you have to do things more quickly, and you don't have as much thought time when you're doing it, if you know you've got 2 hours a day and that's plenty of time to pray and scroll, then you can do that. But if you want to be extra professional and prepared, then what you can do is have a list ready. Ideally, I would have it ready by Sunday night. And I've told some people, don't go to bed on Sunday night if your list is not ready. And people do a couple of different things. Some people just have like a basic idea of, this is the work I'm going to get done this week. These are the people I'm going to drip on. These are the people I'm going to message. These are the people I'm going to follow up with. And these are something else. These are the days I'm going to post about Plexus. Some people print out 5 IPA sheets and fill out all the information on the IPA sheet and then just check it off. You can do any combination of that. And then I would say, if you don't get your act together and have your plan by Sunday night, then at least every night before you go to bed, make sure you know what you want to do the next day and have that prepared the night before so that you can just rock through it. Because that way, if something happens and your day does not go as planned, which happens more often during the holidays, you already know what you need to do and you can do it. The other thing that I would say for the holidays is, when you get to the first of a month like November, or even today, you can do this today or tomorrow. You can look at a calendar, put in all the extra stuff that you know is happening, and then figure out, just look at what days you're going to do normal work, like your normal IPA, and what days you're going to have to do limited IPA. And then on those days that you're going to do limited IPA, you can just mark a few of the most important things. Like you may not want to do a post every day, or you might not want to do a Plexus post every day. So pick the days that you're going to do a Plexus post and go ahead and note that, so you just already know, when I'm working today in my limited amount of time, I'm going to do a Plexus post. And you can go find a post from the commenting group. I like to scroll until I see a picture that pops out to me, and then I share about why it popped out to me, and then there we go. If I'm in a hurry and I need something quick. Another thing you can do is look through your month and see, like, this day I want to spend with my family. And so I'm going to make sure that I plan, like, so Thanksgiving Day. If you don't want to work on Thanksgiving Day, don't work on Thanksgiving Day. And then just know that on Wednesday and Friday, for example, you're going to plan and block out this much time. But not only this much time, this is what you're going to do during that time. And Reagan has been with Plexus long enough that she probably has a good idea of what she should do during that time. But some of you guys that are still growing to gold, you might not know what to do during that time. So you reach out to your leader and ask. But Reagan might feel like she needs to ask too, and that's fine. What I would do during that time is think about the things that are most likely to make you money. And that would be talking to people about the sales and following up with people about the sales. And so that's what you can do. And also, we mentioned this on a call last week, I think, and I'm not sure if I told you guys, but Phyllis was gone for a week. She was on a mission trip, and she didn't do all her regular work, but she signed somebody up. I think that she should feel proud and happy, because that's the goal, to bring new people in or be getting people to share. So who cares if she did all her regular work that week that she was on a mission trip? She got one person signed up, she's good to go. She doesn't need to stress. She can feel great, and it doesn't matter what else she did. So if you do manage, have a time like that it's during the holidays, but you reach your goal, give yourself a break and let yourself rest. But as far as the holidays go, just the more you can be intentional and plan ahead of time what you're going to do, the more you can just do that and feel good about it. And as long as you're planning it ahead of time, then I feel like you're going to be proactive instead of reactive, and your choices are going to be good, if that makes sense. Reagan, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, if you're reacting and just trying to figure out how to fit stuff in, and you didn't plan ahead of time, you're going to feel frustrated. But if you plan ahead of time and just do what you planned and follow through, you can feel calm and peace about it, right?
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think that um with most of the year, I'm really good about that. And then for whatever reason with the holidays, I feel like it's got to be so different and something completely new and increased. And because there's so many things going on, so you want to do all the things and all the sales like November.
Mm-hmm.
But then you forget that, like, oh no, like 51 other weeks of the year, I'm really good at doing all this stuff and being prepared and setting myself up for good months.
Mm-hmm.
So I just take what I've learned from the rest of the year and implement it in a
Yeah,
different way.
100%. And that's what I was teaching on my team call last night, is that basically we're still working November like we work any month. We're still doing all the things, the normal IPA. The only difference is, there's two differences. If people say they aren't ready to buy, you just put them on a Black Friday list. That's step number one. If you try to get them to order, they're not ready, great. Just put them on the Black Friday list. And then also, you do need to spend some extra time this month, this week, I would say ideally, or by Monday at the latest, Monday, Tuesday, making a list of people that have been interested before but did not order, or people that can rejoin that you feel good about. And I would try to find as many of those people as possible. Fill up your list of potentials, people that were interested but didn't join, or people that can rejoin. And then I would try, in what extra time you have, to start engaging with those people a little bit again. And then on Black Friday, we'll have messages and ideas for you. So do your regular IPA, but throw people on a Black Friday list if they're not interested yet, if they're not ready to get off the fence. And then also go back through the last year and look for people that have been interested but not joined, and then put them on that list. And as you have time, start interacting with them. So that's a little bit of extra work, but you can do that and get ready for Black Friday. And then you've already got that list. And then you can plan to sit down for a couple of hours on Black Friday, send your messages, or Wednesday, whatever day they announce the sale and start it. I don't know when it's starting. Actually, there is a pre-Black Friday sale on the calendar. I don't know what it is. They haven't told us what it is, but pre means before. So you should be able to send those messages before. And then on Black, but you can send those quickly because you already have a list and we're going to give you the messages. And then on Thursday, you can just take a break. Now, if you're sitting around bored because you're only hanging out with the same people you hang out with all the time, and that's your family, and you see them every Sunday for church anyway, and after church and go eat lunch, and you're just sitting there and you're bored, well, then play on Facebook and do some relationship building if you want, but you don't have to. You can literally do no work on Thanksgiving. You could do no work on Black Friday if you did all your work on Wednesday, and you might be a Black Friday shopper and want to go shopping. But I would say the other thing with working during the holidays is show people what you're doing. The holidays give you examples to post more stuff on social that's interesting and different from what you normally do. So go post that. Like, I didn't post about Plexus for about 3 days, I think. But I posted a video of Jackson on Veterans Day singing that's up to like 2,000 views. I feel like that is still working my business because I'm getting people engaged with my social media. So I responded to them, I commented, but like it doesn't have to be overtly Plexus to count as working your business. If you are doing things to increase engagement and people's eyes on your Facebook during the holidays, then that counts. Now don't only do that. You've got to get some stuff posted about the sales and the products, but think outside the box. Try to I always tell people when they go on a cruise, it's like you can totally work your business while you're having fun on the cruise by meeting new people, because meeting new people and adding them to your network or your Facebook is literally working your business. So during the holidays, take advantage of the things that are different to work your business. Meet new people, get them on Facebook, post interesting things. Like, I mean, Reagan doesn't have children, but some people with children make gingerbread houses. Post the gingerbread houses and ask who won. Let Facebook decide who won. Even if you really are going to decide at your house, let Facebook tell you who won. That's an awesome way to increase engagement and people will vote. If you are going to a Thanksgiving gathering and you can't decide what to take, ask people what their favorite side dish is. Ask people if they're team turkey or team ham. Do things that relate to the holidays and help you show your personality, and you're working your business. What do you think about that, Reagan? I've talked a lot. I'm going to let you talk for a minute.
Yeah, I know. I think that's great. And sometimes I'll even if I've made up my mind, I'll still ask just because like
Me too.
they don't know you've made up your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I earned the cruise, I was asking for recommendations for where to find a good swimsuit.
I love that.
Because then you're like, hey, I earned this free cruise. Help me figure out where I'm going to get my bathing suit. And so it increases curiosity
Yes.
of like, what did you do to earn a free cruise if they haven't watched the million other posts that I've made?
Yes.
And it's engaged at the same time, so it's going to increase your views even more.
I love that. I love that. There's if you didn't earn a free cruise, there's other things you can do. Like if you're going to an in-person event, if you're going on a team retreat, y'all have got one on Meredith's team coming up in the spring at a campground. And you may not be a person that goes to Bible camp. And so now Reagan goes to Bible camp, I know, but some of you guys watching, y'all might not go to Bible camp, and you might say, I'm going on a team retreat and this is new to me, going to a campground. What do I need to pack? You can ask things like that. Or if you're going to Super Saturday, or if you're going somewhere, or even like I'm trying to decide if I want to dress up for Thanksgiving or not to sit in my living room. What would you do? What do you do? You can ask things like that. I think that a lot of times we feel like what we do is boring, And I just want to say there's people that log into Instagram every day to watch people brush their teeth and make protein shakes. So you're not boring. Whatever, people are interested in real people that have real lives. I mean, our reality shows are off the charts these days. There's reality shows about everything, probably because people are so crazy and messed up. But anyway, there's just so many things you can do. And I would say that I'm thinking of Hillary. I would bet that Hillary's Thanksgiving traditions are different than mine. But also, I think it'd be fun for Hillary to talk about this, like if they do a school Thanksgiving dinner, because we do a school Thanksgiving dinner, and I would love to hear more about like when they started I was just it's just interesting to me like how that goes and what they do and how they make their rolls and all that. But like if you I'm trying to think of some other people here. So like Gina, like what does she do for Thanksgiving? Share some videos, share some cute pictures. I mean, Reagan will probably look cute for Thanksgiving because you're a Gen Z. Is that what you are, Reagan?
In name, yes.
In name. Okay. And they usually look cuter than I do for holidays. I did dress up yesterday for Jackson's Veterans Day performance because I told mom I either have absolutely like homeless looking or super cute and nothing in between for Veterans Day. So we went with super cute and not homeless. But just think about what you're already doing that you could share with people so they could get a glimpse of your life. Because, like we talked about last week, I think you want to be relatable and you want people to connect to you. And while you may think what you're doing is boring, somebody will see that you have pimento cheese on your Thanksgiving meal table, and they'll be like, me too. I'm just throwing that out there because North Carolina has this weird obsession with pimento cheese, and I don't understand it. I don't think it actually is on the Thanksgiving table, but it's on all menus in North Carolina and nowhere else. Have you noticed that, Reagan, or have they changed that? Oh, she's muted.
Yeah, it's at like every holiday function. There's a pimento cheese ball, and I'm like, that's
Right?
disgusting.
Like that is uniquely at least not Texan. I don't know.
I
It's not
didn't realize it was a
Texan.
North Carolina thing.
It is not Texan or Arkansan or Louisiana in. That's not a word, but I guarantee you Louisiana people have some interesting things that you can share. I mean, I just like to hear Cajuns talk. So, but there's definitely, you may think you're boring and you probably are boring to yourself, but I promise you, you're not boring to other people. Okay. So anyway, that's what I wanted to throw out there. Reagan, do you have any questions about how to work the holidays, or anything else that you wanted to ask before we log off? Because I try to keep these pretty short.
No, I think that was very helpful and kind of gives me some things to think about and like just a different perspective shift of like I'm already doing it the right way the rest of the year. It doesn't
Yes.
have a whole new ball game just because it's the holiday.
Yes, we don't have to have a scarcity mindset that all of a sudden now I'm behind and I'm not doing enough. If you are working your business, I mean, other companies don't really do that either. You continue doing your work. The tendency during the holidays is to stop doing your work. So don't stop doing your work, continue doing your work. But if you want to get more work done in less time to leave more time for your family, be more intentional about the ahead of time prep, and I think you will find that you can get more done in less time and be happier. And you may decide to do that the rest of the year, or you might just be like, I like my freedom. I like just willy nillying it. But during the holidays, I'm going to be more intentional so that I can have more time with family and not feel bad about it. So, all right. Well, if anybody else has any questions after you watch this, please reach out. And if you do make it to this point, I would love to hear a takeaway. So, love you guys. Thanks, Reagan, for being my sounding board. I don't want to talk to myself. That does not work. So, I mean, I do talk to myself, but
Yeah, no, thanks. That was helpful.
okay, good. Thanks for being on. All right, bye, girl.